the top 10 businesses that you should meet with, and you'll be able to know who should buy your products and services. And so, Tehran and Michael, this is a fantastic opportunity for you all, because what you're selling in terms of the poultry, let me tell you, when I was thinking about, when they were talking about hotels, I was like, okay, hotels have to have chicken, they have to have poultry, you know, the meat that is there. The universities, oh my goodness, you should see the universities that are being built. I mean, the railway, the trains, out every person that came in to talk with us, all I thought about you all, because we wanted to see where you all could possibly fit in this puzzle. Now, listen, I know you all are focused on other countries right now, which is fine. We don't want you to shift your gears to do that. What we're saying to you all is to come to the summit and to have a virtual space and identify the opportunities. And because we're going to the Middle East in December, we will take the lead for you all on opening those doors and those negotiations. So we decided to meet with representatives from the Middle East in advance, have our businesses to identify the opportunities in advance. And instead of you all spending the STEP grant money this year on going to the Middle East, you stay focused on the countries that you're focused on. We will go and identify the actual opportunity and move you further along the path. That way, when you spend money towards the STEP grant, then you're actually going over there to be further along in your deal. And so there was just such a request for products and services. And so now being able to move to an AI platform where everything is digital. Can you go to the next slide? So this system is so powerful that when you, it's the next slide, Mary Ann, when you are able to boost your international sales, like literally you go on and you customize your booth, and your booth is your brand, like your color. So when I tell you, like the capability statement that we had you all to design, all the videos that we had you all to design, you upload your video on here, your promo video, so that people can go by your booth, whether you're there or not, and they can go onto your social media platform. They can watch your video about your business. And most importantly, they can hit a button in order to meet with you one-on-one to schedule an appointment to talk with you about your products and services. Can you go to the next slide, Mary Ann? So you upload literally everything. So we have a system set up where you are able to upload this on your own. We have a training to teach you how to upload this. And if you need some help with uploading it, we have the resources to help you do that too. Keep going, Mary Ann. Now, the other thing I wanted you all to think about is they have you can do an online store. So for those of you who have books and you have online training courses, we want you to upload all of your books, all of your online training courses. Michael, for you all of your poultry, all of everything that you all are selling, we want you all to upload into your store. And even if, let's say, people might not necessarily purchase, what is good about the store is they have an idea of the menu of services that you have. So like Teresa, you would do strategic planning, you would do the educational projects you can list with, not just a blanket statement. You literally want to show everything you can do because the system is AI powered. It's going to track words. So you have to put the words in there so that someone at a hotel that might know that you're looking for executive leadership, or they might be looking to purchase poultry or something, or a generator. You need to really make sure that you list that as a part of the products and services that you sell so that they can identify you and what you're purchasing. And I love the swag bag, y'all. I love the swag bag because they can download the information into the swag bag. And the way the swag bag works is it automatically emails it to them. So you don't have to give them your card. The system, you'll download your business card in there and they literally will hit a button and they will be able to get your card. and then they'll hit a button and your schedule will come up. So you will go on and you will put in what the time slots are that you're available. We have 2:30 to 4 o'clock um, for net for networking, and they can schedule those specific times to come to set appointments with you and to talk with you. We're probably going to make them about 20 minutes long so you can get in as many people as possible. That's going to happen about 2 days. And so this is a great opportunity for you to be able to find business contracts and sell your products and services. Can you go to the next slide? So this is also accessible on their cell phones. So if they are not able to access it, because that's one of the big things we find in other countries, most people do not have desktops or computers or tablets. They have phones, so they're able to access this and seamlessly book an appointment with you, even on their phone, no matter where they are in the world. Next slide. And here's the cool thing. This is an example of what your meeting can look like. So let's say, for example, you want to meet with multiple people. You can have the opportunity to meet with many people at one time, or you can have the opportunity to do one-on-one. So we will have a networking lounge, which is separate from your area. But the networking lounge is a separate area where all the attendees will meet. So let's say, for example, going to the exhibit hall, you might have some people that will come through there, but the virtual lounge is where everybody will meet. And in the virtual lounge, you will have so many people to interact with, and the AI powered system is going to automatically send you a message to link with other people. So like if someone, let's say is a lawyer that might be doing tax like I do, the system will say, Melissa, such and such is a lawyer that does tax in the same way. But it's all going to be driven based on the words that you say, because a lot of times it's so many people, but how do you get to them all? Next slide. It's 7:30, y'all. Oh, Lord. Let me hurry up. Okay. So we have 4 levels: bronze, silver, gold, platinum. Keep going. So what we did was we reduced the pricing for our members. That's basically what we did. Marianne, can you go to the next slide? Because it's 7:31. So we reduced the pricing. So the regular pricing was for the bronze is 1,500, silver 25, gold 3,000, and platinum. These are the prices that we're selling for. So you'll see for the platinum, you get a 60-second promo commercial. And this means that your commercial will be playing throughout the virtual hall, meaning it will play like on a promo book banner or billboard. That's what it is. So your video will be playing on the billboard featuring your business, and you will be branded throughout the entire event. And then you would get 90 days of post-event marketing services, meaning you saw the analytical report that the system did. So you will get automatic 90-day follow-up on those leads on your behalf. So you won't have to do the lead follow-up. The system, we've already designed the system to be able to do the follow-up for you. We just need your schedule though, For the gold, it's 30 seconds and you have 60 days. For the silver, you'll be able to customize your booth and you'll get 30 days of post-event marketing services. And for the bronze, it's the standard branding that you're going to get. And you'll get an email campaign to assist you. So Narianne, can you go to the pricing for, yep, okay. So this is where we are. So we are a few minutes over. Miracle, can you let people know we'll let everybody in 3 minutes? Do we have anybody in the waiting room?
Yes, I'm
3
chatting with
minutes.
them.
Okay. So, all right. So this is the pricing that we have for Black and Global members. So it's a 33% discount that we have for each of you who want to actually grab a booth. And fortunately, you already have your video done. And fortunately, you already have your marketing materials done. and you are much further ahead of the game. So we're actually going to be launching this at NMSDC this next week when I'm headed there. And we only have 25 slots that are available. So we wanted to offer you all the opportunity to get one of these virtual booths and join us as we are opening our virtual international trade summit. Next slide. Okay, awesome. So we have on our side, it's about 6,000 businesses. We've invited 12,000 businesses from the Middle East to come. So about 60 countries we have thus far. And we're going to have to send you all the promo videos to help you all see just the amount of potential that is available. But before we hop over in the last minute, does anybody have a question? No questions?
Melissa, I had a question about the event itself, the virtual. Are we accessing that free, or is it, as I said in the question in the chat, global is 47, elite is 97?
No, you all come in as global elite. There's no additional charge for you.
Okay, so we just register.
Yep, you just register. Ralph will
Oh,
give you a promo code. I talked about getting you guys a promo code.
okay, so that's what I'll be waiting for
Yeah.
to register.
If you are a momentum client, you come in as a global elite.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah. If Ralph can send that over ASAP, we'll register.
Okay. So
Perfect.
listen, we would greatly appreciate you all sharing this with as many businesses as possible. We're going to share the summit and get as many businesses registered as possible. We're going to have a competition on who gets the most businesses registered. And actually, we're going to have the opportunity for you to win a free booth based on who registers the most people for the summit. So we're going to do that as well. So guys, so be on the lookout for that. All right. So with that, Mary Ann, we're going to switch gears. Okay, so now we're moving over to the next phase of our program. So welcome, 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 everybody. Tonight, we are really excited to have a fantastic speaker to join us tonight, Maria Lloyd. She is a wordsmith. She is a word genius. She is a marketing and branding guru. As you all prepare to move around the globe, it is really imperative that you all get your marketing and your messaging down pat so that as you move into other countries, they will open doors for you. She is an international woman unto her own. I ain't gonna tell y'all, she lives in Paris half of the year, and the other part of the year she live in America. So she's definitely a global woman. So Maria, are you on?
Yes, I am here. Good evening, everyone. I'm so excited to be here.
Awesome. So welcome, Maria, and we are excited to have you. So I'm just going to turn this over to you to give us your genius, and then after that, we'll do Q&A. Does that work?
Okay, that's perfect. Let me
Awesome.
make sure I can share my screen really quickly.
Sure.
Okay, let's see. Okay, so can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, excellent. So, once again, I just want to say thank you all so much for being here. A very special shout out to Black and Global Business Network team, Melissa, Miracle, Narianne, so on and so forth. I really appreciate you all for working collaboratively with me to organize this event. And of course, most importantly, thank you all who are showing up tonight. You could be anywhere in the world, but you are here with me. And I want you to know that I'm absolutely going to make it worth your time. Now, one of the main things that I'm often asked when it comes to these sorts of presentations is, how can I get access to the slides? And so this is one way in which you can get access to the slides. If you scan the QR code on the screen, you will be led to a form where you can then submit your contact information and you'll be able to download the slides that way. Don't worry if you don't feel compelled to do this right now. There actually are QR codes throughout the presentation. So you'll be able to certainly come back to this as I go along with this. So one of the first things I want to do is just kind of introduce myself to you all, because whenever I do these conversations or these presentations, rather, I think it's important that I share what makes me a valid person to speak to you about this particular topic of global branding and marketing. And by the way, I did hear a little bit of shuffling. I don't know if I can mute people, but if someone can give me admin access just so that we can mute some folks, I would appreciate it. All right, thank you so much for that. So again, this is just a very quick introduction of me, so that way you all can understand, what makes me an authority figure to speak with you tonight about global branding. So first and foremost, again, my name is Maria Lloyd, and I'm a copywriter. Does anyone know what a copywriter is? If you do, would you please just say yes in the chat? And I'm going to, by the way, you all, I forgot to mention this in the beginning. I will be asking you to engage quite a bit. So if you think you will just sit on the computer and chill or on the phone, just know I'm definitely expecting you to engage. Okay. So Kevin says yes. Anyone else drop a yay or a yay or nay in the chat, yes or no in the chat, or Y and N. I just need to know who on this call has ever heard of a copywriter. Anyone on this call ever heard of a copywriter? Okay, so I see another yes coming from Eugene. Okay, all right, heard of it, yes. Okay, excellent. All right, well, that makes me very excited. Hey, Ricardo, that makes me very excited. So I am still just going to explain, because I think we have 18 people on the call and I've only seen about 5 or 6 responses. So I'll just kind of quickly explain what a copywriter is. I tell people all the time that a copywriter is a person who is selling with words. So when Melissa introduced me a moment ago, she specifically said that I'm a wordsmith, and I get that often. So literally my number one job is to turn words into wealth. And hence the reason for the title of my book, Words Are Wealth, because in a very literal sense, words are wealth. So let's talk about my international journey. My international journey started back in 2000, I would say 2009, 2010. My very first international trip was actually Jamaica. And I have just gotten a bug and I cannot stay still. I love traveling abroad. I think when the young folks talk about, their toxic trait, I think my toxic trait is falling in love with certain countries and like going back to that country over and over again, as opposed to seeing the rest of the world. So I've been to about 20 plus countries, and I do want to see more. But again, I've just fallen in love with a handful and I just cannot let loose those countries. So nevertheless, as Melissa mentioned earlier, I do split my time between the US and France, more specifically Paris. And one of the really cool things about living a global lifestyle is that you start to forge some really meaningful relationships around the world. And I know this one, as you can see in this image, is a very near and dear relationship for me. The young lady to my left in the photo, if you're looking at it the way I'm looking at it, is one of my really good friends. And so she is born and raised in Paris, and she introduced me to the gentleman that's to my right in the photo. And he is the owner of a very popular bookstore in Paris. And so the name of that bookstore is Tamri, and I may not be pronouncing it correctly. Honestly, my pronunciation is not that great still. But my point is, I was able to get Words Are Wealth carried at this very popular bookstore as a result of relationships. And again, I'm going to go into more detail in terms of what that looks like for you, the business owner who is planning to expand abroad. The next thing is, or the next country rather, is South Africa. So South Africa is another one of those countries that I've just absolutely fallen in love with. And I have some relationships there as well, some professional relationships there. I've partnered with a tourist company. We have a really simple partnership. I send referrals their way and I get a percentage of the sale for the referrals. And so it's a really wonderful relationship because on one hand, of course, there's the money piece, which is great. But also, what's really important is that I know and trust this company. I have personally worked with this company. They are phenomenal. And so, because me as an American am making this referral to other Americans oftentimes, it just works out very well, because there's always there's already a heightened level of trust. And so when by the time I, bring referrals to my contacts over there, they are pretty much a yes, and it's just a great experience and a great relationship to have. So again, you may notice a consistency here. I keep talking about relationships. So I will definitely dive more into that a little later on. So, okay, that's enough about me. Obviously, this is about you all. So I want to play a quick game. So the game that I would like to play, and again, as I shared with you in the beginning, this is a very engaged session. So please be prepared. As they say, get your Twitter fingers ready, because I will be asking you to put some things in the chat. So the game that we're going to play is Google Me. I want you to literally Google me wherever you are in the world and drop in the chat in 1 to 3 words. What do you see? When you Google Maria Lloyd, what are you seeing when you Google? Now, there is a point that I am reaching with this. So just hang on. I want you to Google Maria Lloyd. And again, in 1 to 3 words, explain in the chat what are the results that you're seeing. So I'm just going to check the chat really quickly. Nothing yet. So I'm just going to wait a little bit here. And I want you to just Google Maria Lloyd and in 1 to 3 words, explain what are the results that you're seeing when you Google. Okay, so Michael said he sees social media. Okay. Anyone else? What do you see when you Google? Okay, Eugene said award-winning entrepreneur. Okay, anyone else? Melissa, expert, author, speaker. Kevin said images. Kevin, are those images of me or someone else? What do you
Yeah,
see?
the first thing that comes up are your Facebook image, Amazon.com image, Woman of the Week, oh, We Rise and Shine image, and Rolling Out. And they're all 4 different pictures.
Okay, okay. All right, thank you for that. Carolyn said HSP, author, copywriter. Corey says email. Okay. Instagram. Okay. Words are wealth. Okay. Excellent. So thank you all for that exercise. Let me explain to you why I've asked you to do that. You have to build your personal brand. Everything I'm going to share with you tonight in terms of your ability to have success in an international market really is hinged upon your ability to first build a personal brand. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because people do business with other people. And unless you have built a globally recognized household name, you are what Google says you are. It's just the truth. You are what Google says you are. So if you don't like what Google says about you, trust me when I say it's worth investing in some search engine optimization techniques to improve your reputation, because again, you are what Google says you are. It is extremely important that you invest in your personal brand. Again, I'm saying this because what I'm going to share with you tonight in terms of your ability to expand your brand and your branding and your marketing abroad is hinged upon first you building a really great reputation online. Okay. Now, does anyone want to drop their first and last name in the chat and let us do that same exercise? And the reason why I'm asking you all to do this is because we are coming from all over the world, I'm assuming. And so I just am curious to know what those results. Okay, so Eugene has dropped his first and last name. Corey has dropped his first and last name. So if you all would please Google search Eugene Poole, and then we'll do Corey Northington. And I'm going to do this in real time from my cell phone. And again, in 1 to 3 words, we are going to share what we find or what Google is saying about these gentlemen. So Eugene, the first thing that comes up on my end, I'm going to put this in the chat, is I see University of Kentucky Alumni Association. So I'm going to say Alumni Association. And then also, Eugene, what I'm seeing.
That one's not me. This is the second one, Eugene Poole Greenbelt.
You're right. Oh, wow, that's so interesting. Okay. Thank you for clarifying that.
Mm-hmm.
So I do see you here, like you mentioned in the images, I do see you. You are the second image on my end as well. So what I'm going to do is click on images. So I'll just put here WFG.
And then you'll see there's one aligned benefits group.
Let's see. Okay, yeah. So when I scroll down, I'm seeing the World Financial Group website.
And then there's aligned benefits group.
I don't see that on my end, Eugene. I'm not seeing that one.
Okay.
On my end, what I'm seeing is sadly someone who passed away by the name of Edwin Eugene Poole, and then University of Kentucky alum Eugene Poole Jr. And then I see you. And then I'm seeing someone's LinkedIn. Looks like this person is in cybersecurity.
That's me.
Oh, that's you. Okay,
That's
excellent.
me.
Good. So your LinkedIn pops up. I'm also seeing a Bedford Fine Art Gallery. You wouldn't happen to be an artist, would you?
Nope. No.
Okay.
Google's confused about me, I guess.
Right. So, and this is actually really good because we are really seeing in real time how your brand appears on Google. And as I said, you are what Google says you are, right? And so, Eugene, my suggestion to you based on the Google search the results that I'm getting is that you definitely need more content. So that way you can kind of push down the search results for those other Eugene Poole gentlemen as well. Because I will tell you all, I have that issue. There are about 3 or 4 Maria Lloyds around the world. I had the pleasure of actually meeting one recently who lives in Norway. She came here to Mississippi and filmed me. But nevertheless, there are about 3 or 4 of us around the world. And for a while, the Maria Lloyd, who was a counselor, kept popping up first. And it was driving me nuts. And so, again, because I've invested so heavily in building my personal brand, as you all saw, now my results come up more times than not. I mean, the other Maria Lloyds are still populating as well, but my name and my brand is appearing before their brand, at least most times. So it is very important that you invest in your personal brand. And I'm sure you're probably wondering, how do you do that? So Ricardo,
Maria, what question?
Sure.
What I've invested in is my company name, which I put in the chat, Aligned Benefits Group, because that's what I've done with the Aligned Benefits Group.
Okay.
Check that one, because that's what I really go by.
Okay.
And see what you find.
All right. So I'm going to do that, but I will say this. And by the way, to be honest, I know that there are some people who would disagree with me on this, but I strongly believe, and this is just from, of course, observation and research, that people do business with people. And if you are an entrepreneur in 2024, I don't like it personally, but all of us are content creators. Every last one of us. If you're an entrepreneur in 2024, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, you are a content creator. And so I did just Google Aligned Benefits Group, Eugene, and your business definitely is the first one that pops up. I see the Google Map search. I see the domain name. So I do see the business, which is great. But if someone Googles you, then as you know, there's
I know. We were taught to get the business out there. That's what I was taught, to get the business out there, and made a big issue out of that. And so I concentrated on that because I'm the president and CEO of the company. So
right,
this is kind of how it ran.
And like I said, honestly, some people would disagree with me. They would say, well, I don't want to have my personal brand out there. But I mean, again, in 2024, people do business with people more now than ever.
Absolutely.
So I would suggest definitely building on that personal brand. Now, Ricardo,
can I add something, Maria?
Go ahead.
Okay, I was scared to Google myself. I didn't know what would come up. I've never. This is the first time I have ever Googled my name. But oh my name is first on the whole thing.
That's
Like,
beautiful.
like my LinkedIn comes up. I'm in a women's empowerment group, a fellowship that I did, 3 videos of me, my images. I'm in shock.
No, that's
Yes.
really good. Seriously. Kudos. That's really good, Melissa. Very, very good.
And I never, someone taught me, because I'm good at following instructions, to buy my name
Yeah.
domain.
Yeah.
And I've never used it before, but that really has to be kudos to the Black and Global team. I got to say that, because it's not me. They really do a lot of the work, but wow, I'm glad you put us through that exercise, because I was literally scared. I was like, I don't know what's going to come up. You put my name in there.
I
So
know.
thank you for that.
Of course, yeah, and I appreciate you all for actually doing the exercise. Because like I said, you are what Google says you are. I know that may seem unfair, probably annoying, but it's where we are. I hear an echo. Okay, somebody muted themselves. So with that being said, I know Ricardo raised a really good question in the comments, and his question is, what happens if you have a common name like John Williams? This is a really good question. So my suggestion, if you do have a common name, is one or two things. One, you give yourself a nickname. Okay. So give yourself a nickname that you go by publicly. You know, you can say, I'm John the Copy King Williams or whatever, right? But just make sure you give yourself a nickname that is promoted and advertised in the public. So that way you can separate yourself from the other John Williams. Another thing I would suggest is that you literally just, again, dump all of your resources into, not all of your resources, but dump some resources into search engine optimization and ensure that you become a brand authority in your space. So that way, when somebody is Google searching John Williams, and of course they get 10 billion John Williams, of course we don't have 10 billion people on the planet, but when they get billions of John Williams search results to come up, they can know that they need to put John Williams, the copywriter, John Williams, the marketing guy, et cetera, right? So again, you really want to position yourself as an authority in your space. So that way, when those people go back and Google search your name, then they will be able to find you if you have a very common name. That was a great question, by the way, Ricardo. So, okay, you all, we're going to move along because we have a lot to cover. So how do you build a personal brand, right? And again, I'm kind of stacking upon some things you need to do before we actually get into how you're going to expand globally, how you're going to do that from a marketing and branding perspective. So the first thing you want to do, again, is produce content. What do I mean by content? You can start a YouTube channel, you can post on LinkedIn, you can share on Instagram, right? Your leads are on the internet looking for solutions to their problems. And so when you create that content and provide some insights, and then you can actually ask them to connect with you to learn more. And we'll talk about the whole connecting with you thing in just a moment here. But this is very important. You have all of these platforms that have done a great job of bringing traffic to their website. So we're talking about Facebook, we're talking about Instagram, we're talking about LinkedIn and YouTube. They do the heavy lifting for you. They have already gotten billions of people, especially on Facebook and YouTube, for example. They've gotten billions of people that are visiting their platform on a monthly basis. So you don't have to do a ton of heavy lifting. You just merely need to show up. And so this is one way that you can build that personal brand is by producing content. Now, some people get caught up in the numbers. Like, for example, I have a YouTube channel. My YouTube channel has about 800 plus subscribers. On average, my videos get about, I would say, 20 to 40 views. For most people, that's low, right? They'll look at that and be like, that's a waste of time. It's not really worth it. But let me tell you, it's not really about the quantity as it is the quality of the viewers who are tuning in and seeing your content. I have actually gotten leads and clients as a result of my YouTube videos, right? Again, I just explained to you, I only have 800 subscribers. My videos average somewhere between 20 to 40 views when I release a new video. And yet I have actually been able to secure leads and convert some of those leads into paying clients. So do not sleep on the power of creating content. Even if you're only getting a handful of people to look at that content, I'm telling you, This stuff is on the World Wide Web. And I think sometimes we get so caught up in, oh, you know, no one's really looking at my stuff, that we forget this stuff is global. Anywhere, any person on the planet can see this. It doesn't matter if your aunt and your neighbors and whomever else aren't looking at your content. This is for your target audience, and you have people in your audience around the world who need to see your content. Now, why is this important? Because 74% of companies say content marketing increases lead generation. So content is currency. And I say that all the time. Content is currency. Words are wealth and content is currency. It is very important that you invest in creating content, again, around your personal brand. Now, of course, this goes for your business as well. But as I mentioned previously, what I'm sharing with you tonight is hinged upon what you do on with your personal brand as well. The next thing, come back over here. There we are. So how do you show up? How are you going to consistently show up when you produce this content? You got people looking at the content. They're liking what you're saying. You're educating them on something. They feel informed. How do you show up at scale, right? We're only one person. We are just one human being. We cannot be everywhere at the same time unless you have email. And email allows you to build this really beautiful relationship with people at scale without necessarily having to sit in front of a computer all day and quite literally try to stay connected with hundreds or thousands or millions of people at the same time. And so the way that you're able to do this is by, of course, sending emails with the power of CRM marketing automation, which I'm not going to go too deep into that tonight because that's not really the focus of tonight's conversation. But you're going to use CRM marketing automation as the tool that delivers the emails to the audience that you are attracting through your content. And again, so why does this matter? Well, because the data says that 99% of email users check their inbox every day. In fact, I have another question for you. If you checked your email in the past 24 hours, would you please type a yes in the chat? I just want us to see this in real time. Let's look at the data in real time. If you have checked your email in the last 24 hours, please type yes in the chat. And I think we have about, what looks like we have about 18 folks here. So I'm seeing responses from, okay, we're at 10 now. And I think some of the people on this call are not actually people, but maybe one of the recording things, I'm not sure. But the point is, as you all can see, majority of people on this call tonight are commenting yes. They have checked their email in the past 24 hours. So again, that's the power of email. If the data is telling you that 99% of email users are checking their inbox every day, guess what that means? You've got to show up. You need to show up so that you can give your brand an opportunity to be top of mind when somebody is ready to make a purchasing decision. Okay. So again, this is playing into what I'm talking about with the importance of building that personal brand. So now we're going to go global. All right. So do you want to go global? Of course you do. That's why you're here. And so how do you do that? How are you going to go global? The first thing you're going to do is you're going to identify influential individuals and or organizations and collaborate. And so I'm going to give you all a real life example of how I've done this. And I did this at the start of last year, but then we folded it over into this year with a prominent copywriter out of Nigeria. Okay, so I will explain to you how I did this. Again, the relationship was forged in 2023. And of course, we have built upon that relationship and brought it on over into 2024 and beyond. So here's the thing about partnering with influential individuals or organizations. Oftentimes when we hear the word influencer, most people think millions of fans, right? This is somebody who reaches millions of people. You don't need millions. You don't need, it's not a need. I mean, we may want to attract someone that has millions of followers, but we really can just reach someone that has a passionate group of people that are following them, that believe in what they have to say, and that get value from their content, right? And so the example I want to show to you is this one. So earlier this year, I collaborated with a Nigerian copywriter by the name of Gideon Aware, and we did this webinar back in January. And so the reception to that webinar was so good. And as you can see here in the middle of the screen, there's a screenshot of some of the comments out of the group that was created in WhatsApp for the webinar, that we turned around and we hosted another one alongside one of my dear colleagues in the copywriting space, Donnie Bryant. We hosted another one in April of this year, okay? And so the reason why this is really important is because we were able to attract, with the webinar that Gideon and myself did, it was 300 people on that webinar. With the webinar that we did in collaboration with Donnie, my colleague Donnie, we were able to get over 800 people, okay? And so I would like to believe that in part, the reason why we were able to triple our participation, almost triple our participation, is because of the webinar that I did with Gideon at the beginning of the year. And so I'm going to explain to you how I was able to forge this relationship and get people interested in what I had to say in that webinar, and why people were so receptive to me on that call. So the next thing that you want to do when you are in pursuit of expansion globally is you want to understand the hot topics in the country and speak to them, okay? And so you want to kind of present your product or your service as a solution. So just to, again, tie this back to a real life example with my colleague in Nigeria, Gideon, I know that a hot topic, especially at the start of this year, within the Nigerian community, was Japa. Should Nigerians Japa? And basically Japa means like, should they leave Nigeria in order to make it a stronger economic country? That's essentially what it means. Should they become expatriates is basically what the controversy is. And so there is a segment of the population that believes that in order for them to live a better quality of life and to be a better citizen of Nigeria, they need to actually become expatriates and move to the US or move somewhere in Europe, and then leverage those resources to try to rebuild back home, okay? I knew before my webinar with Gideon, this was a hot topic because I did my research. So guess what I did? In the intro of my presentation, I said, I have a question for you. Who wants to Japa? And the comments blew up. People went crazy in the comments. They couldn't believe this American girl is talking about this very sensitive issue that is happening locally for them in their country. And so it's almost like you could all, even though we were virtual, but you could almost feel the tension just leave the room. I mean, immediately people were so receptive to what I had to say because they knew, wow, like she really is invested in what we're doing. And so what I did in that presentation was I said, listen, whether you want to Japa or you want to stay in Nigeria and build the country from the ground up, or rebuild the country from the ground up rather, these copywriting skills will help you do that. So see, I didn't take a position. I didn't say, okay, if you want to Japa, you need to do this because I didn't take a position. It's not really my place, right? That's not really my fight. But what I did do is I positioned my expertise, my brand, as the solution for them, no matter which way they want to go. If you want to Japa, then you learn these copywriting skills and you can go out and get some foreign clients and make the money to go back and invest in your country. You don't want to Japa? Great. You stay in Nigeria, you use these skills, and you can rebuild right there in your backyard. Okay. So I didn't take a strong position. I just merely asked the question. And because I asked the question, it immediately cemented the trust in me. And several of those participants actually inboxed me or emailed me. It was a little overwhelming for about 2 weeks after the webinar because I kept getting inundated with inboxes and DMs and all this other stuff. But several of them specifically mentioned that when I asked about Japa, it helped them realize, like, okay, she's not on here just trying to sell us something, like she really wants to help. So make sure that you are paying attention to some of the hot topics that are happening in the country that you're interested in doing business in, because that is a very quick way for you to forge a relationship with the audience, and it helps them realize this is not someone who is just coming in here to extract our resources. They really care, and they're trying to help us. Okay. The next thing is you want to speak their language literally. So one of the biggest complaints that I get from my international travels and things like that is that Americans in particular will visit another country and there is not a single effort in learning how to greet a person in the language, greet people in the language of that country. There is not a single effort to learn any basic expressions or questions. Everyone just kind of assumes like, oh, okay, yeah, they speak English. And so we just kind of carry that with us. Now, again, I know this is a stereotype. I realize that people on this call are, you know, some of us know how to speak multiple languages and things like that. But this is the general perception from my experience traveling abroad. People just assume that she's American. She doesn't know our language. Okay. Now, obviously, no one's really expecting you to become fluent. Okay. If you're interested in getting into a foreign country, let's say China, for example, you know, I don't think anyone is necessarily expecting you to become fluent in Mandarin. But just learn some basic greetings, learn some basic questions and expressions. Again, this is just a way for you to forge a deeper connection with the audience because you can infuse some of these things in your promotions. Okay. So it's very important that you just learn the basics, just show people that you're trying to connect with them on a deeper level. And so on my end, what this looks like, again, just kind of still playing off of the example with my folks in Nigeria that I did the presentation with, I know that this phrase is very common within the Nigerian community, and that is no wahala, which means like no trouble and stuff like that. And so, you know, I used this exactly. Melissa put it in the chat, no problem. Yeah, it's basically the same, no trouble, no problem. Oh, Miracle is from Nigeria.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, so yeah, like no wahala is a very common phrase in Pidgin, and this is probably, well, this and maybe a few other words are the only words that I know and phrases that I know in Pidgin. But my point is, when I use this phrase, this expression during the webinar, it just cracked people up, right? Because of course, I know I probably didn't say it right the first time. I'm sure I messed it up. I have a country Southern accent. So I'm sure people are like, oh my gosh, look at this girl trying her, you know, she's trying. Again, it's just a great way for you to quickly forge and cement that relationship with the audience. And it shows them that you really do care and that you really want to connect with them on a deeper level, as opposed to coming into their country, taking their wealth or taking their resources and then bringing it back to your nation. It just forges a deeper connection. And that's what this is all about. Now, for those of you, and I'm sure this is probably everyone on the call, for those of you who've traveled abroad and you've gone to a country where English is not the primary language, what happens when you meet that person who speaks English? How do you feel? And since it's not that many of us, you can just feel free to unmute yourself and just yell it out. How do you feel when you're in a country where English is not the primary spoken language, and then you finally run across somebody and they're speaking to you in great English? How do you feel?
Relieved.
Relieved.
See? Exactly. There is something about connecting to people in your native tongue that really, really builds a level of trust, a level of decompressing, right? And that's why I'm saying you've got to learn that language literally, right? Again, not trying to become fluent per se. You just want to know how to greet someone in their language, in their mother tongue, and just a few key expressions. And that's it. All right. So I'm going to move along. And now we're going to actually get into some real life examples of brands that are successfully expanding abroad. Okay. So again, we're going to play a little game. Which of these two brands has not been forced to close its doors abroad? Which of these two brands has not been forced to close its doors abroad? Anybody want to just shout out the answer? Don't be over there Google searching now. Okay, Ricardo said Walmart. Any other guesses? Nakia said Costco. Any other guesses? Anybody else? Who agrees with Ricardo? Who agrees with Nakia?
I think Walmart.
Okay, Walmart. Okay, so we have another vote for Walmart. So, all right, let's see who is correct. Melissa says Costco. Let's see who's correct. It's Costco. Costco has done phenomenally well overseas. In fact, they've done so well in China, in mainland China, that in 2019, they had 139,000 people get membership on the opening day. It was so successful that they actually had to shut down the store early because there was a traffic jam in the parking lot that kept people frustrated in the parking lot for up to 3 hours. And then there was a jam inside the grocery store. So Costco has not been forced to shut its doors. However, Walmart has. So how did Costco get this massive success in China, right? In China, if you all are not familiar, it's a very challenging market to break into, especially as a foreigner. So how did Costco successfully do this? Well, what they did, which was very clever, is that they had already forged a relationship with Alibaba's cross-border e-commerce platform, which is named Tmall Global. And according to their senior vice president for Asia, he said that they had taken the time to make sure that consumers were aware of their brand. Consumers in China were aware of their brand and the market was mature enough. So before they even consider opening a physical location in the country, they first partnered. Remember, we talked about the whole partnership and collaboration piece, right? They first partnered with Alibaba and their e-commerce platform. And then 5 years later, they were able to, again, on opening day, secure 139,000 memberships, which is just absolutely insane. Even as I'm saying, I still can't believe it. But this is very well documented. So let's go to the next question. So, which American sports league is expanding their global reach? Which American sports league is expanding their global reach? And you can just put NBA or NFL or whatever answer you want to put in the chat. Nakia says NBA. Harry says NBA. Melissa says NBA. Anyone want to guess otherwise? NFL. Okay, Corey says NFL. Okay. So this one, Dr. Teresa says NFL. Okay. So I'll be honest with this one. It's a trick question because the answer is both. Both brands actually are expanding abroad. And so basically the NBA is responding to its growing appeal overseas, and it has led it to focus on specific markets such as India. They partnered with Bollywood actor Ranveer Singh to celebrate the cultural significance of basketball in the country. So again, you all notice this trend, right? So far, what I've shared is that these American brands have partnered with a local influential brand in the country that they're targeting. You see this consistent theme that's happening here with the collaboration, the partnership. And again, if you can recall in the beginning of this presentation, I shared with you that the only way that you can get to that point of being able to attract the attention of someone who is influential is when you invest the time in building that personal brand. Okay. So next, let's talk about NFL. According to NFL Executive Vice President Peter O'Reilly, he says, our focus really on the international front in terms of games is around growing the number of regular season games now with the opportunity to do that and focus on strategic markets. This year, games are scheduled in Sao Paulo, London, and Munich. Okay. So in fact, and I forgot to mention this, I meant to put this on the slide, but Roger Goodell actually said that the Super Bowl at some point will probably be hosted internationally, which is really insane because as you all know, this is very much, it doesn't get more American than the Super Bowl. And so they're already saying that there's a strong chance that the Super Bowl will be hosted internationally. Now, that's not coming anytime soon because as of now, I think the next 2 or 3 Super Bowls are already booked in the States. So it's not going to happen right now, but at least we know it is definitely on the horizon. Okay. So I just have one question for you. And that is, are you ready to go global? And I want you to drop your answer in the chat, yay or nay. Are you ready to go global? Are you ready to go global? Yes or no? And I'm actually looking at the chat. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of yeses. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Beautiful. Okay. I'm very happy to hear that because I want to again stress what Melissa shared early on before I was on the call, the importance of you participating in the 4th annual virtual International Trade Summit. Now, Melissa may have already told you all, but I'm going to share it again. There are trillions with a T, trillions of dollars up for grabs for entrepreneurs like you and me. And so this is an amazing opportunity for you to, keep this word, partner with people who are on the ground there in the Middle East. This is a wonderful opportunity for you to connect with these individuals, get an understanding of the culture, find out what is happening on the ground in these countries, and really forge a deep and meaningful connection with these potential customers in that country. Okay. This is very important. This is why I wanted to get on here and just reiterate and stress what Melissa said about being a part of this virtual summit. It is extremely important. And so with that being said, I also want to just share this, probably one of my favorite quotes, and that is, for all sad words of tongue and pen, the saddest are what might have been, which is by John Greenleaf. And so my interpretation of this is that a lot of times we, will not succeed in a goal that we have set. We are in Q4 of 2024. I'm sure at the beginning of this year, a lot of us had some very ambitious goals. And now we're down to the 25th hour. And a lot of those goals probably have not come to fruition, right? And so we are in that what might have been phase, because we had these great ambitions, we had these great plans, but for whatever reason, those plans did not come to fruition. And it reminds me of a very true story that happened with me. One day I woke up from a nap and I saw a ladybug that was flipped over, which more times than not indicates that this insect is dead. When you see an insect flipped over, more than likely the thing is dead. So I picked it up with my bare hands and I flipped it right side up in the palm of my hand to see, is it really dead? And when I flipped it, I kind of, stood still to see if it was going to move or anything. Nothing happened. Normally, whenever I catch an insect or something like that, especially a dead insect, I just flush it down the toilet. But for some reason, I just felt like I'll just, throw the thing back out into the yard and maybe a lizard or something will eat it. I don't know. For some reason, I just felt it would be better to just take the thing out into the yard. So I literally went to the door, I opened the door, and I tossed the ladybug into the yard. And would you believe that when I literally released it, it flew? It actually flew. Now, what does this have to do with this conversation tonight? A lot of times what we are missing, the one link that we are missing between getting to where we want to be and being where we are at this moment, is we just don't have the right person guiding us to that pathway, right? Or we don't have the resources to take us to that destination that we are aiming for. And so my point is, you are on a call with people that have the knowledge, that have the expertise, that have the network to take you to the destination that you are interested in going to. So it is very important that you tap into that that you leverage that you don't take it for granted. Because if someone else had found that ladybug, I can assure you they probably would have just flushed it down the toilet. And I don't know what compelled me to throw it outside, but I'm so glad that I did, because obviously the thing was still alive and I gave it an opportunity to continue to live. So I want you, everyone that is on this call, to just think about that. You are on a call for a reason. And I don't know what your reason is, but I would venture to say that if not all of us, at least 90% of us on this call tonight are here because we have an interest in doing business globally. So you're in the right place, but you need to take advantage of the guidance, take advantage of the resources that are right here before you. And again, this is why this upcoming summit is so very important. That this is why presentations such as this one are so very important, because it gives you that access, it gives you that guidance that you need to get to that other side that you're aiming toward. So with that being said, of course, I want to invite you all to work with myself and my team. I would love to have you. You can go to my website. There is a link there that says contact if you want to book a call to speak with me. I would love to speak with you and learn more about your business and see if there's a way that we can work together. So now I want to open it up for questions. I'm sure you all have some questions, and I would like to make sure that I give you an opportunity to ask those. Any questions?
So I don't have a question, but I did just want to say thank you. Thank you for the presentation. Very inspirational and very encouraging. And you're right, we are here for a reason. And you just gave me some additional momentum, pardon the pun, to move things forward. So thank you for coming on tonight.
Wow, thank you for that, Kevin. I'm so happy to hear that. I really appreciate you for sharing that. Thank you.
Maria, I wanted to ask you, where do you live when you're in the States, if you don't mind?
No, I don't mind at all. I'm in Mississippi.
I'm in Mississippi,
Oh, where?
in Ashland.
Okay. So my office is in Jackson, but I'm in the suburbs of Ridgeland. Are you familiar with the Jackson metro area?
I've only been to Jackson once. I've been in Ashland for 5 years. I spent
Okay.
most of my life in Memphis, but was born in New York City. So
Oh, wow.
I did go to Jackson for something work related. I can't remember, but it was dealing with the Small Business Association. So I've done that since I've been here. So are you on
Okay.
LinkedIn?
I am on LinkedIn, and I'll drop that in the chat. Let me grab that link.
Okay, I'll connect with you there if that's fine.
It definitely is. I don't mind at all.
And I want to make a
Very nice to
comment.
meet you.
Likewise, I want to make a comment to Melissa to thank you for each month, especially for those of us that attend regularly and have for a while. Each month, you bring us people and content that is very diverse. And so this is not like anything that I've experienced, and I've been with Melissa almost since inception of Black and
Wow.
Global. And so this was really, I don't want to say necessarily a breath of fresh air because each is unique in its own way, but it has really I can identify with what Kevin just said. It's really been a great night tonight. So thank you. And thank you, Melissa, and your team.
Wow. Thank you so much for that. And Harry, I do see that your hand is raised.
Yes, I have a question. You were saying partnership earlier. How
Mhm.
does partnership with them get around the regulatory the regulatory or legal uh things that happen? For instance, we are doing business with people in Ghana. And
Mhm.
in order to have your business in Ghana, you have to have a certain, pay for a certain amount and do all these specific things. How does this connect? How does this get around those things? Or is the reason why you said partnership is that loophole through those regulatory processes?
Wow. So this is a very good question. I'm just going to be very blunt here. I'll say it on record. So I do not recommend breaking the law. especially as a foreigner, if the local government, and you are absolutely right, I am aware that Ghana does have some, certain requirements to do business there. If the government, if there is a law that has certain requirements as it relates to your ability to do business, I would follow the law. Now, what the partnership does, though, Harry, to your point, is the partnership, it could present some sort of legal loophole, right? That we would never know about because we're not on the ground. And so if that's the case, obviously I would strongly recommend pursuing that route. Again, I emphasize legal.
Well,
I
the
would
reason
never encourage. Go
Well, the
ahead.
reason why I would ask, 'cause I know with some countries, you could do what you call B2B, right?
Hmm.
U.S. company doing B2B business with them, with someone there established as a business. So that is
Hmm.
one way we were able to do business in different, in Ghana and different places in West Africa. So by doing, you saying this is the Middle East, is that what it is when you're doing is it a B2B transaction,
Mhm.
or is it actually a full out business partnership?
So can I jump in, Maria?
Yes, go ahead, Melissa.
Okay, so Harry, we at Black and Global, we are lawyers. We're international tax and corporate lawyers. So this is a question that's near and dear to our heart,
Mhm.
right? Because what we do is we make sure you tick all the boxes. We are the paperwork people. We paperwork everything. We cross all the T's, we dot all the I's. And we show you that you don't have to go around the regulations, you go straight through them. But what happens, what Maria, by the way, Maria, you've done a fantastic job, and you're so
Thank
spot
you.
on with what you're saying, because it's relationships that will help make the needle move in each of these countries. For example, we have partnerships with different organizations in Ghana.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna give you an example of what I mean. We have a client now that we um, went through some processes, had to pay some fees that were listed to be paid. The list of the fees that we got were 10 times what the actual fees were. But
Right.
because
Yeah.
we had that partnership on the ground, I run everything through that group, and I was like, look, what's the real deal on these partnerships, on these fees? And they went and got me the actual fees, and we have to pay the real number. So this is what I mean by partnerships are so really important. And in addition to that, um, in addition to that, you have to make sure that you have the type of relationship. Now, for us, we go through the government for everything
Uh-huh.
because our strength is we know how the government works and we know how to move the government in favor of our clients, right? And it's unfortunate, but the truth is you have to know how to navigate the government. And in terms of going to the Middle East, we're doing the exact same thing. So each country we go to, we form partnerships and we form written partnership agreements. And these written partnership agreements, the Department of Commerce gets credit for because what we show is the job creation that's tied to these partnerships. And the reason why they will help us to close these partnership agreements is because that person who is a foreign commercial officer, they get evaluated based on the deals that they close. And a partnership agreement is a deal that you close. Now, the question is, after you sign the paperwork, the fortune is in the follow-up. That's the system and we designed a system to do the follow-up because you're going to waste your time if you're doing these partnerships and you're not doing the proper follow-up. So as an example, like with my client, we're doing an EB-5 investor visa where they want to come to the US and find a project and doing an investment here in the US. That's, it's a $2 million deal. It's a lot of steps that are involved in this process. So the typical question is, oh, how do you go through the process of finding someone to be able to do that? Well, we will go to the embassy in Ghana and we pay the embassy in Ghana $700 to do an international company profile, to vet this company out in advance so that we know, my client on this end, that they are not dealing with somebody who's a scam. You see, that's a relationship. That is using the government, because in every embassy, you can have them to do that. If we need the ambassador to go out and send his representative or his team, we send a letter or an email and say, Ambassador, hey, whoever it is, because you can do that. So you don't have to go through past the regulations. You just have to know the type of relationships that you have to have on the ground. And your tax dollars pays for you to have people to go out and get you 5 partners. You don't have to do it yourself. And that only costs you $950 US. And we can show you how to get a grant to get reimbursed anywhere from 75 to 90% of that. But it's the relationships that are so key, Harry, that you don't have to worry about that. In the Middle East, the different groups that we've met with that are going to be coming to the summit, they are from Qatar, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Oman. We have Dubai and Abu Dhabi. They're about Yemen. They're about 9 countries. All of these countries, they have large projects. And I'm going to show you guys a video of what these projects are. But they have literally said, Melissa, you know, we're buying everything. We're building cities. We're building entertainment centers. We're building movie theaters, hotels. We're building, you know, universities. They need education tech, education design. That so many different services for each one of these countries. And so for us, what's really key is that we have countries on in the US that are in a position and ready to take advantage of these opportunities. But you always want to make sure, because you want to know the tax advantages, you want to know the treaty advantages. These people, when you try to do this stuff by yourself, it takes you 100 years. And it's very frustrating and aggravating. But with us working through our process, you know, we cut through a lot of the due diligence. That's one of the reasons why we go on these trade missions.
Okay, thank you for that.
Okay. And Maria, you wanted to add to that?
I think you pretty much covered it. I mean, it's just, of course, I was not going to suggest breaking the law at all. And so you've already covered it. So, I mean, I hope Harry.
No, we wouldn't talk
been
about
answered.
anything about breaking the law, because we've already doing B2B business with people in Ghana and across, you know, Nigeria and Benin. So, you know, the way that we saw the law working, as long as they had we helped them establish their own company there.
Mm-hmm.
And then do a B2B transaction, because we do technology.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, if we get work here in the US, we sub it to them.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, and vice versa, and, you know, things of that nature. So since it's B2B, then it means that all they doing is doing business with a US company, and the US company is doing a business with a Ghana company.
Okay, and are you getting US assistance with that from the government?
No, what we end up doing was going over there, landing, going to the government, talking to them how to do these things. We stayed there for 9 months, and then we flew back here, and we had set up a team there and had them, you know, dealt with them, had to set up the company and all this, and been working together for about 1.5 years together now.
Okay, all right. So listen, we definitely want to assist you, Harry, because you have to really know that it's beautiful to do that on your own. We have another team, that company that did something really similar, where they invested a lot of their resources up front. And I'm so happy that they're in our program, because you know, we have the opportunity to open doors for them. Like, it's one thing I'm so excited about, a meeting that we're going to do next week. And Michael and Tehran, I'm telling you, after I sent you guys that email, my phone has been ringing off the hook. I'm just like, you know, biting at the chomps, because when we're able to help you all to facilitate these opportunities, this is really what we are here to do. So to help you to be able to close on deals and projects like that. So with that, let me show you, I want to show you all what we're talking about in the Middle East, what Vision 2030 is. And we have a few more minutes, and you guys can get your questions together for Maria if you have additional questions. Well, let me step back. Does anyone else have questions for Maria? I think that's the most important part tonight.
Yeah, there is another question
Okay, go
in the
ahead.
chat. So this one is from Thierry. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. If I did not, I apologize. It's a really good question, actually. So the first part of this question is when I connected with my colleague Gideon in Nigeria for the webinar, what was the goal or the mutual benefit? So really great question. The goal for me, honestly, was to build my personal brand in Niger, because what I aspire to do in Nigeria is to be a part of conference lineups to speak specifically about copywriting and marketing and things like that. Copywriting is one of those spaces in Nigeria that is actually being built. It's still kind of like a new thing. And so there is a market that is very hungry for the knowledge and the experience that I have to offer. So that was one part of it. The other part of it for me personally was to grow my YouTube channel, which blew that completely out of the water. During the webinar, I did promote my YouTube channel, and I specifically promoted it inside of the WhatsApp group as well. And I think I literally got like 100 plus, not I think, I know I got over 100 plus subscribers as a result of that webinar. And then of course, when we turned around and did it again in April, I was able to get a few more 100 or so subscribers to my YouTube channel. So I know that that partnership helped tremendously with growing my YouTube channel. In terms of my footprint with regard to Nigeria and what type of like business and stuff I want to do in Nigeria, as I mentioned, I do want to be a part of like speaker lineups or conference lineups rather, or to be a speaker at a conference in Nigeria that is focused on copywriting, marketing, etc. And I will say there is another copywriter in Nigeria who's even more prominent, at least publicly known in the country, who messaged me about a month ago and asked me if I would be a part of their conferences coming up in, I think, March of next year. I don't know if I'll be able to do that just yet. They're still working on getting sponsorships and things like that. But my point is, I would say it was an overwhelming success on my end and for Gideon. The benefit to Gideon was that he actually, so really it was multifaceted. One is by partnering with two of the, and I say this humbly, by the way, but two of the most popular Black American copywriters in the US, it actually elevated his notoriety in Nigeria, because it was like, wow, this guy managed to get two of the best Black copywriters to do a webinar with him. The second piece for him as well is that Gideon was very much interested in meeting Dunny, my colleague Dunny. And so that happened. He was able to meet Dunny. And so as a result of him organizing that webinar, he has been able to, again, lead conferences and things like that in Nigeria. So I would say that it was a great success for both of us. Obviously, I'm still working on the latter part of my goals as it relates to the conferences and things like that. But I would say with certainty and without a doubt, both of us walked away from the partnership happy. So thank you for that question. I think that was a really great question. Any other questions?
I guess we'll have an opportunity to connect with you and introduce ourselves to you about our businesses.
Oh yeah, I would. Can we do that, Melissa? We have enough time?
Well, actually, there's a couple of things that I wanted to share. But Maria, let me thank you very, very much, for a fantastic presentation tonight. You really far exceeded, I've seen you speak in person, but what I really love when I say you far exceeded my what I expected, I mean, I didn't know you had worked in that many countries.
And I still didn't list some. I've done speaking engagements in the UK. I have a business in Malawi. Yeah.
So one of the things we love is showcasing our global talent. And that's why it's so important when we meet people like you and we see the work that you're doing around the world, because Maria, you are the avatar that we are stressing to our businesses, that the world is looking to do business with us.
Yeah.
And you have to set your mind that the door, why stay within the US where you have to struggle and fight and be tolerated? There's an entire world out there that's looking to do business with you. And Maria, on top of that, another reason why I'm so happy that you're here is because you're a service business.
Mm-hmm.
And so many of our businesses discount themselves and say, "Oh, I'm a service. Can I do a service business?" I was speaking at a conference earlier today, a virtual conference based in South Africa, talking very similarly about what we're talking about now. And they were talking about how they're looking to do business with Black American businesses. And one of the questions that I got from American businesses was, well, can service businesses export? And I said, I always love that question because service businesses are the first ones to discount themselves and say they cannot. You are a service business, aren't you?
Yes.
You're and you're an example of a service business that sells successfully around the world.
Yep.
So this is why we're so grateful for you. And anyone who wants to connect with Maria, please feel free to connect with her directly. We bring talent so that you all can connect with them directly and they can serve you directly. And trust me, we vet them before we put them in front of you, because we're only going to put people in front of you that we feel are trustworthy people and people who produce our favorite word, which are results. That's what we love to see. So with that, Maria, thank you. So Maria, the next workshop, do you have any idea of any thinking around that? Because we asked her to come back, right? We asked Maria to come back and we asked her to do a more hands-on workshop with everybody to actually, give people some more actual experience and actually, just say this, say that, don't say this, don't say that, which is one of the things we do at Black and Global, because your messaging, your international avatar, what your marketing messaging, your website is so critical. And Maria, as we prepare our businesses to go into the Middle East, one of the reasons that we needed you was because we have to get our websites ready to be able to go into the Middle Eastern market. It has to be culturally acceptable in the Middle Eastern market. We got to get the plugins have Arabic. We got to get the translation. You got to have the right images. One of the things you'll notice for us with this summit that we've done is now I'm Muslim, and I wear my hair covered, but all of the women that we have that you'll see images of, they don't have their hair covered, but all of them are clothed. Every single one of them, they're clothed. All of the men are clothed, meaning that they're covered, because you have to respect, like you talked about the language, you have to respect the culture of the people that you're doing business with. So we really want you to help us with our words, what to say, what not to say, our websites to get us ready. I'm going to show everybody the video about what's possible with Vision 2030, but can you give us an idea of what your thinking is around the next workshop so you can give them a primer on what you can be doing to help them?
Yeah, so for sure, I mean, as I mentioned early on, I am a copywriter. Like that was the first thing that I mastered. And so I would love for us to have a hot seat session in which everyone is pulling up their websites and we are really looking at the copy on the website and you're getting feedback in real time. I think that would be a really great start. Another thing is, again, I'm really big on this personal branding piece. I do think it is very important. If you are the CEO, founder, whatever your role is, you do want to build that personal brand as well, because people do business with people. And so that's another thing that I would like to cover in the workshop, is really like building out that personal brand. What does that look like? Do you have a website that is just about your personal brand? Are you actively like capturing email addresses? Are you actively reaching out to people and staying top of mind? So those are the things I would definitely love to cover in the next workshop for sure.
Awesome. I have the website, but I fail on the link on the Wikipedia and all those other things you have to do. I didn't know you did all that stuff yourself in order to build up your content. And I'm just like, oh my, it's a lot of work,
It's
Maria.
a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. Yep.
It's a lot
Yep.
of work.
It's a
So
lot.
with that, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just repeating myself. I was saying, yeah, it's a lot.
Awesome. Okay, so if you would let me share, Maria, we're going to wrap
Sure.
up our discussion tonight. Anyone, you have copies of the slides and you can feel free to reach out to Maria directly. Thank you, Maria, for promoting the summit, and Miracle dropped the link in the chat for everyone to register for the summit. We're having a contest that we're going to be sending out for those of us who are able to promote the summit, and you will get access to a free virtual booth space. And the free virtual booth space is a space where you're able to promote your business in our virtual exhibit hall. We are opening our virtual international trade center. We call it iTradeWorld.ai. And we've sent out emails to promote our new trade center. And this is where we've invited different businesses, over 12,000 businesses we've invited from the Middle East to join us at this summit. Our virtual platform is AI empowered. So you will be able to set up virtual B2B matchmaking, and it will be AI empowered matchmaking that, based on your profile, will recommend the top 10 businesses that you should meet with in order to buy and sell your products and services and start down this road of forming these partnerships. So let me share this video. Tell me, can you all see my screen?
Yep.
You can?
Yep.
Okay. So let me make sure that you all can hear. All right, here we go.
Welcome to the Middle East Vision 2030, a game changer for global trade. From Saudi Arabia to Qatar, Dubai to Abu Dhabi, Jordan, and other Middle East countries, these nations are reshaping the future of business on a global scale. Imagine a future where innovation meets sustainability, where billion-dollar mega cities like Neom and smart hubs in Dubai are ready to drive the next wave of international trade. With world-class infrastructure from ports to airports, the Middle East is positioning itself as the crossroads of the global economy. Projects like Saudi Arabia's Red Sea Tourism Initiative and Qatar's Lusail City offer endless investment opportunities. And it's not just about trade, it's about sustainability. Vision 2030 projects are pioneering clean energy solutions that will power tomorrow's industries, helping global businesses go green. With these ambitious initiatives, the Middle East is inviting global entrepreneurs, investors, and businesses to be part of this transformative journey. The door to the future of global trade is wide open. Are you ready to seize the opportunities? The Middle East Vision 2030 is where local innovation meets global success. Vision 2030 unlock the future of global trade. Black and Global Business Network bringing this opportunities to you at the 4th Annual Virtual International Trade Summit 2024. We at Black and Business Network can help you access billions of dollars in global opportunities. Welcome to the Middle East Vision 2030.
Countries that we are bringing to you have a Vision 2030 program. With the exception of Qatar, it's Vision 2040. And these are investment projects that each country has where they are looking for foreign companies to come and do business. And what does that mean for you? That means you forming partnerships with groups that are in these Middle Eastern countries and opening the doors for you to be partners with them to sell your products and services. So if you do cybersecurity, if you do hardware, they said, Melissa, we need sheets and pillowcases and light bulbs for our hotels. I mean, it really has been amazing, the level of response that we've gotten from the different organizations. We have the Qatari Businesswomen's Association that is looking for partners because many of them want to come into the US and invest in the US. It has opened the doors for what's called EB5 investment, which is where businesses in other countries will make investments into the US, into different projects, and they have to have American projects in order to make the investment, and they are financing projects. And by financing these projects, they have to create 10 jobs in the US, and they're able to get their citizenship by making these levels of investments in the US. And you have different groups and individuals that want to come to the US. They're looking for business partners. So it's a two-way trade opportunity that we're looking at this upcoming summit. And so we're just really excited with the opening our virtual International Trade Center, which we call iTradeWorld.ai. So we would love to have all of you all there to join us at iTradeWorld.ai. And I have to show everybody a picture right quick. So y'all bear with me. I got 6 minutes because we work with some awesome developers and technology companies in order to build out our virtual International Trade Center. So I'm going to show you all a sneak peek preview. They keep telling me, Melissa, stop making changes. Stop making changes. I'm gonna do that in a minute. So can you all see my screen? Can you all see? Everyone can see? Great. So this is our Black and Global International Trade Center. It is our virtual trade center. And as you can see, these are the different countries that we are inviting to do business with our businesses. And because it's virtual, we can host so many businesses from around the world. And this is where we plan each year to bring businesses from different parts of the world to meet with you in order to buy and sell with you. And so we call it iTradeWorld.ai, our virtual International Trade Center. And on the day of the summit, so far we got over 60 countries, that are coming. We're focused on doing business in the Middle East. One of the great things is that because we form partnerships in so many different parts of the world, we're able to bring many businesses. So now not only will American businesses be able to sell into the Middle East, but Caribbean businesses will be able to sell in the Middle East. We have partnerships with Black chambers in Canada, and those businesses will be able to sell into the Middle East. So many, this has been a dream of mine. This has been something that I really wanted to see, where we become the epicenter of international trade in the Black business community. And using AI, we are able to do that. So we are where AI meets international trade. So with that, everybody, does anybody have any questions for us tonight? No? Okay, awesome. So be on the lookout for information on the summit. We would appreciate you guys promoting the grand opening of our virtual International Trade Center. And you all are going to see all the moving animation. When you go inside, we got our avatar, and her name, I'm going to say she name, but our avatar, her name is Globally. I thought that was so cute. We named our avatar Globally. So we have our avatar, and she's going to be, escorting everybody around the trade center to give you access. And you'll have an auditorium, you'll have an exhibition hall, you'll be able to network with all the businesses that are there. You'll be able to do smart B2B matchmaking, that is AI-powered matchmaking, that based on the words in your profile, again, Maria, words being well, you will be able to match with buyers, and you actually will be able to have your kiosk based on the times you have your schedule set up. People will be able to go out to your kiosk, hit a button, and you'll be sitting on the other side, just like you're sitting right now, and you'll pop up and they'll pop up, and you'll have 20 minutes to talk with them for you to be able to do the smart AI matchmaking. So our goal is to make it easy for you to grow from Black and local to Black and global. So let me check the chat one last time to see if there's anything else. All right. So thank you all for joining us tonight. And as I always love to say, I am your sister and servant, Melissa Muhammad. We are the Black and Global Business Network, globalizing our connections, keeping us in the Black, and we'll see you around the globe. Good night, everybody.